Have you ever experienced an event in real life that you previously saw in a dream? Or had moments when someone you were just thinking about called or messaged you? I'm sure you've experienced these a few times. Let me go a step further and ask this. Have there been moments when, while being with someone you love, the same thoughts crossed both your minds? Or have you ever experienced a moment when you thought you were dreaming, feeling as if you were outside your own body? I'm sure many of you have experienced this or similar things, but due to the demands of daily life, you didn't dwell on it and simply brushed it off as a strange occurrence. However, the experience you went through was not something to be easily brushed aside. You have felt, even if just a little, the existence of a very powerful organ that once existed in humans. Today, many of us are unaware of the existence of this organ, and this did not happen without reason. The system poisoned us mentally and physically for 1,000 years, while trying to hide the truth of who we are, and more importantly, what we could become by concealing information from us. All of this was done to turn us into a single thing, a soulless slave. The human brain is the most advanced mechanism known to us in the universe. Despite all the advancements in medicine, we are still far from uncovering the secrets of this magnificent organ. Because for every question we answer, a new question emerges hidden beneath it. However, within this extraordinary organ, there is a part that may be even more mysterious than the brain itself. Pineal gland. It is sometimes referred to as the gland of birth and death. This small organ, located at the center of our brain and resembling a pine cone, regulates sleep patterns and controls the secretion of the hormone melatonin. Recent research shows that the pineal gland is capable of performing a wider range of functions. The most complex of these functions is the production of the molecule known as dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. This molecule is often referred to as the spirit molecule and is considered one of the most potent psychoactive substances. While we sleep, the pineal gland secretes a very small amount of DMT, allowing us to dream. This secretion process reaches a significant peak just a few seconds before the body's death. For some individuals, this symbolizes the moment when our consciousness and spirit leave our bodies. Our existence is believed to move toward another creation. While science continues to explore the mysteries of the brain and the pineal gland, the significance of the small organ has been recognized by various cultures and philosophies for centuries. According to them, this gland is the greatest ally on the path to spiritual enlightenment. More importantly, a person who awakens the pineal gland regains the divine abilities they once possessed. So where does this belief come from? What is its source? Most importantly, who taught humanity this thousands of years ago? When we look back in history, we observe that these symbols were widely used in Sumerian culture. However, there is an important distinction. Among the Sumerian symbols, this symbol is depicted not for humans, but for the gods. As we mentioned earlier, the pineal gland resembles the cones of a pine tree. We now see that this nuance, recently discovered by science, is presented to us in the Sumerian symbols from thousands of years ago. It was said that these cones were the cones of the tree of life. Some people claim that this tree resembles human DNA. The Anunnaki symbol holding a cone explains the connection between this higher intelligence and human DNA. The Anunnaki symbol does not stop there. In the remnants of Sumer and Babylon, gods are often depicted with these cones in their hands, and these cones are given significant importance. While historians claim this is related to the sowing and planting of the land, I believe you should make this decision for yourself at the end of the video. When it comes to ancient Egypt, the situation changes completely, as the form of this symbol used in Egyptian culture has become one of the most commonly used symbols today. And it is associated with one of the most mysterious organizations in the world, the famous all-seeing eye. One of the most sacred symbols of ancient Egypt is the Eye of Horus, also known as the all-seeing sacred eye. However, if you view this depiction merely as a hieroglyph, you will overlook the symbol's millennia-long history and its mysteries. The depictions of the Eye of Horus in Egyptian hieroglyphs carry very specific characteristics. To understand what these characteristics signify, one must symmetrically bisect the human brain. This reveals the all-seeing third eye. This symbol precisely indicates the location of the pineal gland. I want to explain its meaning once again. The all-seeing sacred eye. Spanish scholars have studied the symbolism of the third eye in Egypt for a long time and have produced articles on this subject. In particular, They recognize the similarity between the symbol of the third eye and the symbol of a 10. They explain it as follows. A 10 symbolizes the awakening of the third eye, representing the high-level divine spirit within us. Therefore, the Aten symbol represents the enlightened individual as well as the awakened third eye. How did the Egyptians uncover this mystery? The key question is, how did they learn that this organ is directly connected to the spiritual aspect of a person? If we ask historians, they would say that ancient Egyptian civilization was advanced for its time. However, we consider it to be quite primitive. However, regardless of how it may be, this primitive civilization possesses profound knowledge about an organ that we are still beginning to understand. They even have far more information than we do about what this organ represents. Therefore, referring to the ancient Egyptians as primitive communities is a clear indication of ignorance. Do you think we are limited to just Egypt and Sumer? Of course not. The third eye symbol used by the Egyptians still appears everywhere on our planet today. In Hinduism, this symbol is called Bindu and is depicted as a dot in the middle of the forehead. Bindu directly represents the third eye chakra, with qualities similar to those of the Sumerians and Egyptians. This symbol carries the meaning of a hidden eye for understanding the divine. Similar symbols have also been used in Buddhism and Taoism for the purpose of enlightenment. Let's move away from the region and take a look at the territory of South America. Here too we find symbols expressing divine governance and enlightened divine personality that resemble those in Egypt, present in civilizations such as the Inca, Maya, Aztec, and Toltec. One of the small but beautiful examples of how this symbolism has changed over time is the eye bead symbol used by Asian cultures. This protective eye aims to shield you from negative energy. Just like in ancient beliefs, the third eye is thought to protect you from negative energy. As always, the things we say are unrelated to each other are actually pieces of a larger puzzle. The philosopher Galen spoke about this organ. He states that it is a gateway to the spiritual world. Descartes describes the pineal gland as the seat of the soul. He makes this analogy because he believes that the pineal gland is the only unpaired part in the brain. He then states, "We hear a single sound with our two ears, see a single image with our two eyes, and finally, all of this combines into one moment." When we look at the symmetrical structure of the brain, the pineal gland appears to be a center that brings all these thoughts and feelings together, situated right in the middle of the brain, the throne of consciousness and the soul. Although Descartes was a philosopher, he was also an experienced anatomist. He noted what we discussed earlier during his experiments conducted on humans. In Eastern philosophy, the pineal gland holds an extremely critical significance. Among the chakra systems believed to exist in the human body, the third eye chakra is recognized. One of the reasons for this name is its location at the back, in the center of the eyes. It is possible to see traces of this symbol in all ancient civilizations. Not only in ancient times, but also in modern times. Many things resembling pine trees and walnuts point to this mysterious organ. This symbol is used to represent human enlightenment. Before and during the 14th century, science was suppressed and obstructed by the despotic rule of the Vatican. However, with the onset of the Renaissance period, humanity was able to escape the grip of ignorance. One of the most important figures of this period was Michelangelo. Although he is recognized as one of the greatest masters of art, he was well aware of the consequences faced by those who opposed the church. One day, the Vatican asked Michelangelo to paint heaven and the creation of man by God on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Although Michelangelo hated the church, he accepted the task. It took 4 years to complete this painting on the chapel ceiling. In the end, an image emerged that amazed everyone, including the Pope. However, there is another secret that no one knew. Michelangelo had kept a secret from the ignorant Vatican that they would not be able to uncover for 100 years. He had confronted them with the true nature of their beliefs. The most important painting at the center of the chapel's attention is the creation of Adam by God. At first glance, everything seems normal, but that is not the main issue. Take a closer look at the shape in which God stands with the angels. What do the lines remind you of? Yes, they represent the bifurcated state of the human brain. But what does the position and posture of God remind you of? Yes, you can see it now. The pineal gland, which the Egyptians called the Eye of Horus, and the Asians refer to as the third eye. Michelangelo conveyed his message to the church in his own style. The God that you force everyone to accept in a fascist manner is nothing more than a creation of the human mind, and the truly sacred thing is the pineal gland. Thus, individuals like Michelangelo, Descartes, and Bruno, who defended science and truth against false beliefs, were laying the foundation for a society that would be established in the future. One of the most famous and mysterious societies of today is Illuminati. 1776, Germany, Adam Weishaupt. Although he may not have realized it himself, the society he founded continues to influence people even after 250 years. He, along with the most famous scientists of his time, created a society against the violent era and the church's supporters of anti-science, the Illuminati, symbolizing the enlightened. In history, perhaps the most fitting symbol of enlightenment reflecting this ideology is the all-seeing eye, which they accept as their main symbol. Illuminati is not the first society established for this purpose in history. Throughout the centuries, there have always been societies that defended true science against the clerics who sought to spread the beliefs of false gods. The oldest among them, and the sects that led to the establishment of Illuminati, are organizations that base themselves on Hermetic knowledge. The main ideology of the Hermetic sects is the revival of ancient sciences among people after the flood, aiming to eliminate false beliefs based on knowledge and to elevate humanity to a level of perfection, both morally and technologically. According to the beliefs of these mysterious sects, thousands of years ago, when humanity was much more advanced, both our third eyes and those of other beings living alongside us were open. As a result, we were able to establish a highly developed civilization. However, over time, due to the degeneration of humanity, this ability has become diminished. Consequently, the pineal gland has reached its current suppressed state. Both an individual and society need to open this eye to reach that advanced state. The term eye is not used arbitrarily. This is because the pineal gland closely resembles an eye in its shape. The Illuminati, a few years after its founding, had its ideas assessed as radical, similar to other Hermetic groups. Consequently, the group was dissolved with the expulsion of its members. Today, people believe that these secret groups are continuing to pursue their plans. What were the true ideas of the Illuminati and Hermetic groups that they faced such harsh reactions? Freedom, equality in the light of science and knowledge. We believe that this is actually a good thing. Then why were these groups banned and those who were members were sentenced to death? To truly understand an event, it is essential to approach it objectively from both sides. The family that obstructed the Illuminati was a dynasty that ruled the Bavarian region for a long time. Charles Theodore. The entire dynasty were devout Catholics, meaning they were loyal servants of the Vatican. I believe you now understand why they were so eager to destroy these groups. Even today, these groups are often depicted as sinister. Throughout history, every organization that has sought to spread ancient science and knowledge to humanity has either been destroyed or forced to withdraw by those in power. Why have these societies been targeted and destroyed while there are religious exploiters and evil organizations everywhere? Now, in response to this, we will investigate the greatest conspiracy ever carried out against humanity, which is still ongoing: the project of enslavement of humanity. Thinking of the human body as merely flesh and bone simplifies the complexities of events. For thousands of years, many civilizations have believed that our bodies consist of both matter and energy. We can imagine it this way. Each gene is accompanied by our normal physical body, as well as a spiritual body that surrounds it like an armor from within and outside. It is possible to perceive that spiritual body through the pineal gland. Today, we call this aura. Our bodies have a vibrational frequency, just like every matter in the universe. You can accelerate these vibrations by eating healthily and filling your mind with positive energy. Although this phrase is easy to say, it can be challenging to implement. As a result, your journey towards achieving a level of perfection will begin. In the end, you will reach the point that all ancient sciences speak of, to be one with everything. In fact, this is the purpose of each of our existences, to reach this level. Unfortunately, today people spend their lives pursuing material goals rather than spiritual ones. This perception has been deliberately created by certain individuals. In 1940, Nazi Germany gained significant power and began to destroy everything that stood in the way of their corrupt ideals. The strange thing is that millions of Germans, behind a psychopathic leader, became a part of this inhumane destruction as if they were hypnotized. People wonder, did so many people not realize at all that they were doing something wrong? People naturally seek answers to these moral questions. However, due to human nature, the sense of empathy can be suppressed using scientific methods. The Nazis were a community knowledgeable in intriguing sciences, both due to their obsession with ancient cultures and their understanding of science. Hitler skillfully combined these two elements to direct the people towards his goals. The human body has an average vibration frequency ranging from 62 to 78 megahertz. If you lower this value below 58 megahertz, diseases begin to manifest. If you reduce this value below 25 megahertz, it indicates that your death is imminent. Some historians and researchers argue that the Nazis used a specific frequency range, namely 440 megahertz, in their constantly published propaganda materials to make people more obedient and soulless. This phenomenon is not to be underestimated, as the same system is used by the Soviets, the Chinese, and even North Korea today. Even worse, in today's world, the music industry produces music at a frequency of 440 hertz. Although many musicians and researchers claim that this is unrelated, you can decide for yourself at the end of the video. The methods used by fascist and dictatorial regimes to influence and suppress societies are not limited to these frequencies alone. Fluoride. Fluoride on paper is said to be healthy for your teeth because it prevents tartar formation and protects tooth enamel. However, excessive intake of fluoride can lead to serious problems for you. This includes joint pain, neurological disorders, increased susceptibility to bone fractures, muscle pain, decreased IQ levels, and, most importantly, calcification of the pineal gland. The Nazis add excessive amounts of fluoride to both Germany's and the water sources of the countries they occupy to keep the population under control. This substance is not only added to water, but also to food and beverages. Throughout all these years of frequency reduction, the blinding of the pineal gland, the oppressive regime of fear, and absolute propaganda, the Nazis transformed the German people into a machine devoid of empathy. Not only the Nazis implement this, but nearly all dictator regimes do as well. If you think that these madnesses ended after the Nazis lost the war, you are mistaken. Yes, the Nazis lost the war, but something even worse won. For example, the 440 megahertz frequency we mentioned earlier, which darkens your spirit and drives you into depression, became a global standard value in 1955. This means that even without forcibly listening to propaganda, you are exposed to this frequency while listening to your favorite artists. After the end of the war, a decision was made to add fluoride to all drinking water worldwide. This decision was dictated by the World Health Organization and standardized across all countries. Furthermore, fluoride began to be added to all beverages and foods produced. Think about it. This substance is even present in natural foods. Okay, we understand its presence in toothpaste for your teeth, but why is it added to the water we drink and wash with, as well as all the foods produced? We mentioned earlier the problems that may arise from excessive use. Do you think this is normal? In the past years, 27 studies have been conducted, including one from Harvard University. It has been found that when children are exposed to this, their IQ scores decline, and early puberty is triggered in individuals. In a similar study, it was found that male rats exposed to fluoride suffered serious damage to their reproductive systems and a decrease in sperm count. Additionally, the identified psychological effects included irregular sleep, inability to rest after sleep, distractibility, fatigue, and depression. So, this product category truly falls into the category of poison. How can we even think of using a substance that is used in the production of rat and insect poison, which is a banned chemical weapon, and that can kill over 100 chickens with just 3 grams of sarin gas? Think about the psychological and physiological problems I just listed. Now consider the difficulties faced by yourself and those around you. It's impossible not to notice why some issues have increased in recent years. People are no longer able to have children. Youngsters are entering puberty at the age of 12. In many parts of the world, the medications being consumed have become antidepressants. Everyone is experiencing sleep problems and has lost faith in the future. Do you think these could be coincidences? Especially when one of the reasons is clear. The reason for this massive conspiracy is known. to create a hollow and easily controlled society, distant from your divine abilities and your belief in yourself. What I'm referring to as divinity here is not religion. It's important for you to know that the lies of our time, presented to you under the guise of religion, are also a part of this matter. Especially the clergy who present themselves as religious institutions are a significant part of this issue. True divinity comes from within a person. Now imagine a world made up of these individuals. There is no need for the claims I present to see these realities. Step outside, look at the people, and even look at yourself. Look at the state we have fallen into in recent years. Turn on the television and watch. They continuously report bad news, trying to convince you that there is nothing good left in this world. Look at your leaders. They have all turned into the figure of the Antichrist that your faith describes. They deceive people through religion to enrich themselves. Look at the religions and the history that has been taught to you. You will see that what they symbolically label as evil actually represents the development and enlightenment of humanity. In short, almost all the information you have been taught as correct is unfortunately wrong and manipulative. If you can investigate the pile of disinformation that lies beneath what is considered wrong, it will show you the truths. Is it the ideas imposed on you by history, science, and institutions like World Health Organizations under their control, such as fluoride is good, 440 megahertz frequency is a lie, humans are created only to obey? Questioning leads to leaving the religion. Ancient civilizations were communities that believed in dreams that are real, or is it our society, which is on the brink of extinction and has collapsed morally and health-wise? You decide.